And just give me a final prediction before I see you on fight week. A devastating knockout?
Yeah, for sure. Brutal knockout. I want to see it grow. I want it to be a huge fight, blockbuster fight, and I think it's going to be that. And yeah, can't wait to go out there and just perform and do the business.
Daniel Dubois opens up on his upcoming rematch with Oleksandr Usyk, emphasizing that he will surely knock out Oleksandr Usyk. Moreover, Daniel Dubois spoke confidently about his upcoming rematch with Oleksandr Usyk, saying everything is going well and moving in the right direction. He said he's in top shape, feeling strong and fully focused. Dubois emphasized that he's ready to step back into the ring and will be 100% prepared when the time comes.
I'm not going to go into too much, but I'm with you now. How's everything going? We're only 2 months away from this undisputed rematch. How is everything, Daniel?
It's going well. Everything's moving in the right direction. I'm feeling tip-top shape and just ready to go out there and yeah, like I always say, ready to fight, and I'm on it. I'm going to be 100% ready for it.
Daniel Dubois expressed his desire for England and the whole world to focus on his upcoming fight, saying he wants everyone's attention as the build-up continues, even though the fight is still 2 months away. He emphasized that this type of fight is what boxing is all about. There's no higher level than this. Daniel made it clear that his goal is to win the undisputed title and collect all the belts.
You said you want England to stop, the country to stop, you want the world's eyes on it. The way this is building up, and we're still 2 months away. This is going to grab everyone's attention, correct?
No, I want it to. This is what these type of fights are about. There's no higher ceiling in boxing. This is it. This is the undisputed. So all them belts, I want to get them all.
On the other hand, Anthony Joshua was asked about the upcoming rematch between Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois, but he made it clear he didn't want to discuss it. He said it's a great fight, but it has nothing to do with him and prefers to let them handle their own business. Joshua emphasized that he wants to focus on things that directly involve him and not get drawn into conversations about other fighters' matchups.
Quick one before I let you go. You've got to catch your flight. People would hate it if I don't ask you about this, this rematch with Usyk and Dubois. You've boxed.
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it?
Nah, let them do their thing. It's a great fight, but let them do their thing. It's nothing to do with me. Let's talk about things that concern me.
Moreover, Eubank Jr. shared his thoughts on the upcoming clash between Daniel Dubois and Oleksandr Usyk, saying Dubois is in great form, especially after his big victory over Anthony Joshua. He acknowledged that Usyk also has strong momentum behind him. In Eubank's opinion, the outcome will come down to who has the stronger will and who can remain composed when the pressure is on.
I think Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll. So, I think that fight's going to come down to mindset.
However, Daniel Dubois reacted to the news that 60,000 tickets for his rematch with Oleksandr Usyk sold within 48 hours, calling it an incredible response. He said he wants to see the event continue to grow into a massive blockbuster fight. Dubois added that he's excited to step into the ring, perform at his best, and take care of business on fight night.
I did want to mention to you, George Warren spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, and he said within 48 hours, 60,000 tickets went, which is incredible demand for this rematch.
Oh yeah. I want to see it grow. I want it to be a huge fight, blockbuster fight, and I think it's going to be that.
When asked for a final prediction ahead of fight week, Daniel Dubois confidently stated that fans can expect a devastating, brutal knockout in the rematch, promising to make a clear statement and leave no doubts behind.
And just give me a final prediction before I see you on fight week. A devastating knockout?
Yeah, for sure. Brutal knockout.
Furthermore, Don Charles shared that he and Daniel Dubois have been working closely for the past 2 years, beginning with an intense 14-month training camp leading up to their first fight. He spoke about Dubois' development since then, noting how he has matured into a world champion and defeated high-level opponents along the way. Charles sees their journey as part of a greater purpose or divine plan. He also raised questions about Oleksandr Usyk's faith, suggesting that if Usyk truly walks with God, then speaking falsely in God's name is a serious wrongdoing.
Well, we've been together now for 24 months. We did, that first fight was 14 months camp, and new fighter, new trainer relationship. Now 24 months later, can you imagine? And you've seen what he's done in between that time, from the Usyk fight to now, what he's gone and done and become a world champion, and the personnel he has beaten on the way. That suggests to how far he's come, and we're going to top it up by, this is all meant to be, this has all been written by God. The God that I worship. I questioned Usyk about his religious beliefs, because if you're a godly person like he prides himself on, how can you lie behind in the name of God? That's a sin, a big sin.
Carl Frampton described the rematch between Daniel Dubois and Oleksandr Usyk as a really good fight and acknowledged that Dubois has grown into a more dangerous and improved fighter since their first encounter. He pointed out that Dubois had some strong moments in the initial bout and admitted he was disappointed with how that fight ended. Frampton believes Dubois has a real chance this time, but also confessed that after previously picking against Usyk, especially in the Tyson Fury matchups, he's learned not to make that mistake again. In his view, Usyk is a boxing genius who doesn't need a strict game plan, as he adapts and solves opponents in real time. Despite Dubois' progress, Frampton expects Usyk to come out on top.
Really, really good fight. Dubois is a better fighter now than he was in the first fight, and he looked okay for periods in the first fight. Disappointed we've had ended as well, but Crawford, flip me, talking about the wrong fighters again. Yeah. Dubois is certainly a much more dangerous fighter than he was, so he does have a chance to win the fight. But in saying that, I've backed against Usyk a couple of times, and specifically the Fury fights. I don't think I'm ever going to back against him again. I think the guy's a genius and he just finds a way. I don't even think he was in the fights with a game plan. He figures people out as the fight goes on. And yeah, Daniel has a better chance, but don't back against Usyk. I think Usyk wins the fight.
Now, with the rematch just around the corner, Dubois feels stronger and more confident than ever. He has worked hard every day, learning from his mistakes and improving in every way. His team believes he is in the best shape of his life and ready to show how much he has grown. This time, Dubois is not just fighting to win, he's fighting to prove that he's better, smarter, and more determined than before. In this camp, Dubois has been putting extra focus on building his strength. He's doing more power-based workouts and working on explosive movements to increase his punching force. His trainers say he's hitting harder than ever before. Every session is designed to make him stronger in the ring so he can hold his ground, break through defenses, and finish the fight with power. Frank Warren spoke with confidence and excitement about the upcoming rematch between Daniel Dubois and Oleksandr Usyk, believing it has the potential to be a historic moment. He acknowledged Usyk's quality and respected his undefeated record against British fighters, but pointed out that Dubois came close to exposing weaknesses in their first fight. Warren believes Dubois has grown since then, and now understands what it takes to win. With all 4 heavyweight titles on the line, Warren said this could be a truly special achievement. After nearly 5 decades in boxing and managing multiple British champions, he sees the chance for Dubois to become the first undisputed British heavyweight champion as a legacy-defining moment.
Well, it is, but they know each other. They've been in the ring together. They shared a ring together. I know he can hurt him. I know that Usyk, who I've got great admiration for, he's beaten every British fighter that he's been in with. But I believe that he has weaknesses, and it was nearly exploited in that first fight. I mean, that's the punch I always felt would give him problems. So Daniel knows what he's got to do in this next fight, and it's going to be a great fight. And as I said, it's historical because of the belts and so forth. And if he comes through that, how bad is that? 48 years I've been doing this now. I mean, for him to come through and do that, the heavyweight champion, and I've looked after a few British heavyweight world champions, but I think that would be something special. The first guy to hold the 4 belts, that's historical.
Tony Bellew shared his thoughts on Daniel Dubois, saying the heavyweight is now at a different stage in his career, more mature and more aware of what it takes to win at the elite level. He didn't shy away from the fact that in their first fight, Dubois gave up, and people are entitled to view that however they like. However, Bellew believes Dubois has grown significantly since then and has shown he can now push through adversity. He highlighted the win over Anthony Joshua Joshua as a major moment that likely gave Dubois a huge confidence boost. Bellew sees him as a serious and dangerous threat in the rematch with Usyk. That said, he still expects Usyk's skill, control, and ring IQ to wear Dubois down as the fight progresses, ultimately leading to another Usyk victory.
He knows himself now though, Jim.
Yeah.
So he knows how hard it is, how tough it is. I believe the first fight with him that he'd had enough. He'd had enough and he quit. So it is what it is. You can make as much of that or as little of it as you want. I think Daniel Dubois is now coming to a different stage in his career where he's understanding now of what needs to be done and what's at stake. I think he's shown that he can overcome difficult times in fights now. And I think the victory over Anthony Joshua is going to propel his confidence levels to an all-time high. So I think he's well in this fight. I think he's a super dangerous challenger, and he'll go into it with a lot of belief. But I believe that belief will get shrunk as the rounds pass and as the shots start getting landed on him. The questions will be asked of him again. Oleksandr Usyk will be victorious.
Tony Bellew hailed Oleksandr Usyk as a rare genius in boxing, operating on an entirely different level and embodying the exceptional talent the sport needs. While acknowledging that every great reign eventually ends, Bellew doesn't see Daniel Dubois as the one to dethrone Usyk. He believes Usyk, who has already conquered huge challenges like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, will outclass Dubois again, likely winning by a late stoppage or on points. Although Dubois has shown power and mental growth, Bellew feels he hasn't yet proven he can match Usyk's skill and endurance over 12 rounds, nor does he have what it takes to stop the Ukrainian champion.
This guy's an anomaly, he's a freak, he's the genius that boxing needs. This guy is, I can't put it into words how good he is at what he does, Jim, but ultimately all good things have to come to an end eventually, yes, but I just don't think Daniel Dubois is the man to bring it to an end.
So you go Usyk again?
I'm going Usyk again, and I think by late stoppage, if not points.
Stoppage?
I think he can stop him. Yeah, I just think he figures it out. It's what his mindset and the frequency he's on is a different level to everybody else. It's like this guy's gone up against a 6'9" monster in Tyson Fury and figured him out. Yeah. This guy's gone up against one of the biggest punches in boxing in Anthony Joshua and figured him out twice. He's already beaten Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is a big, strong guy. Immense power, I give him all the credit in the world, and he's overcome many demons, but he hasn't shown us yet that he can get this job done over 12 rounds, and I just don't see him stopping Oleksandr Usyk.
Teddy Atlas showed profound admiration for both fighters, particularly Oleksandr Usyk, with whom he shares a close connection. He praised them not only as athletes, but as individuals of strong character. Atlas emphasized Usyk's resilience and integrity amid the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia. He admired how Usyk maintained his elite performance in the ring, despite his country facing invasion and devastation, demonstrating remarkable mental strength and unwavering commitment during such a difficult and painful period for his nation.
All right, I'll start with this. I love both guys. I have respect for both guys. And look, we're close to Usyk, so I'm not going to hide that. And I think a lot of both of them as men. Forget about fighters, as men. I think a lot of Usyk, the man he is, what he's done really for his country, to really fight during the pressure of his country being torn apart and invaded by another country, by Russia, and to fight during those times and that going on in his country with his people, and just, like I said, just destroying what he loves.
Teddy Atlas also expressed his respect for Daniel Dubois, appreciating him not only as a fighter, but as the person he has become. He recognized that Dubois faced difficult challenges, especially in his losses to Joe Joyce and Oleksandr Usyk. While physical setbacks such as the eye injury against Joyce and the disputed body shot against Usyk affected those fights, Atlas emphasized that the essence of boxing lies in the ability to overcome obstacles. For him, the sport is about rising above adversity, beyond just rules or punches. He believes Dubois is now demonstrating this resilience and maturing into a genuine champion.
I also have a lot of respect for Dubois, for the man he is and what he's become. That he fell apart in 2 fights. Yeah, different things happen, I get it, but physical things happen in the fight with Joyce, and then in the fight with Usyk, where Usyk, some people think that it should have been a punch to the body, it shouldn't have been a breakage and a stoppage, and that it changed the fight. The bottom line was, at the end of the day, in both joys, it's about overcoming. Boxing and fighting is about overcoming. Yeah, it's look up the definition in Webster's of boxing, fighting. I don't know what you're going to find exactly. Marcus of Queensberry rules, putting gloves on, pugilism. For me, the definition of fighting is overcoming. That's it. Overcoming. To be a champion, somewhere along the line, you got to find a way to overcome. And Dubois found that.
Teddy Atlas admitted that in both the Joyce and Usyk fights, Daniel Dubois seemed to give in not just physically, but more importantly, mentally and emotionally. Despite this, Atlas praised Dubois for his determination to come back and redeem himself. He highlighted how Dubois took on 3 tough comeback fights, suggesting that Dubois might have even accepted the first 2 without pay, as it wasn't about the money. For Dubois, the journey was about proving something to himself, discovering who he truly was and what kind of man he wanted to be. It became a matter of living with pride instead of shame, facing the world with confidence, and being proud of the person he sees in the mirror every day.
Yeah, he gave in. I thought he gave in. He broke down. Mentally, emotionally, whatever you want to call it, physically, but I think more mentally in both the Joyce fight and the Usyk fight. But he came back, he redeemed himself, and he did what you said. He fought those 3 tough fights. And those fights, I think he would have fought them for free. At least the first 2. Because it was about redeeming himself. It wasn't about getting paid. It was about finding out who he was. Finding out what kind of man he was. It was really about living the rest of his life with pride. Instead of the opposite, with some shame. It was really about being able to get up every day and go outside and feel good about who walks outside on the road and what people are going to see. It was really about looking in the mirror and liking what was looking back at him.
Simon Jordan expressed his strong belief that it's Daniel Dubois' time to shine, stressing that his opinion is entirely impartial. He described Dubois as a fierce, unstoppable force, and said he fully deserves all the recognition he's receiving. Jordan praised the way Dubois entered Wembley Stadium, likening him to a true gladiator. He's pleased to see Dubois growing not only as a fighter, but also as a man, becoming more confident and improving his ability to handle the media. Looking ahead to the fight on July 19th, Jordan predicted it would be an outstanding event and emphasized that Dubois needs to secure a stoppage victory, as winning by decision seems unlikely to him.
I said it to Oleksandr Usyk, and there's no favoritism here. I think it's Daniel Dubois' time. I think he's a ferocious
have to agree with
beast. Absolutely. and I think he deserves all the plaudits. I think what walked into Wembley Stadium was an absolute gladiator, and I'm thrilled for him that he's coming out of himself, growing as a man, becoming more worldly and able to communicate with the media, and I think it's going to be a fabulous fight.
Do you believe that he can get it done inside the distance?
I think he has to get done inside the distance.
Yeah. You don't think he can win on points?
I think it's unlikely.
Yeah.
I think it's unlikely. But whatever, July 19th, brilliant fight.
Duke McKenzie expressed that in his opinion, Dubois would lose to Usyk again if they faced off a second time. He believes Dubois would once again be outboxed and even suggests there's a genuine risk that Dubois could be stopped. According to McKenzie, nobody is currently capable of defeating Oleksandr Usyk. He compares Usyk's level to that of the Premier League, while everyone else, including Dubois, is still stuck in the first division. Despite his respect and admiration for Dubois and recognizing his progress, McKenzie remains convinced that Dubois lacks what it takes to overcome Usyk. That said, he does believe Dubois has the ability to beat anyone else in the heavyweight division.
Just tell me, head on the block now, does Dubois do it second time against Usyk? He gets outboxed, yeah?
He gets outboxed again.
Does he get stopped?
Quite potentially, sure. Nobody's beaten Oleksandr Usyk. You know, I don't want to make it sound too cliche, but for me, where heavyweight boxing is concerned, he's head and shoulder. He's Premier League and everybody else's first division. As much as I like Dubois, and Dubois is improving all the time, still not got what it takes in my eyes to beat Usyk.
And finally,
beats everyone else, though.
Yeah, he does. He does.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? Will Usyk be able to knock out Daniel again? Let me know in the comment section, and make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Also, check out our other videos on the screen right now.